Welcome to Miss Martin Muses. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses, where we muse upon what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. Today, we're going to talk about something that makes me so happy I am beside myself: solfege. More particularly, solfege as it is used in the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It is my honor to share with you my life's work. It is a truth universally acknowledged that when you want to teach children to sing, a very good place to start is do, re, mi. But when you want to communicate with aliens, it begins with re, mi, do, so. These symbols, used in the movies The Sound of Music and Close Encounters of the Third Kind, are what we call solfege. What is solfege? It is a system where every note of the scale is given its own unique syllable. A sequence in solfege is a key plot point in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. In the movie, people who have had a close encounter of the first kind are having this sequence running through their head. It's part of the madness they're experiencing. We're going to learn later in the movie that the aliens have a very specific reason for doing this. Enter Dr. Lacombe, a French scientist who's been studying this phenomenon. Before a group of experts, he is explaining this sequence and rightly chooses to use solfege. To help you learn, I am using the hand signs created by Zoltan Kodaly. Kodaly developed these signs to teach music to deaf children. Now, as someone who is quite well versed in this subject, these lines made me, let's just say, perturbed. I have no idea why this line of dialogue made it even past the first draft. Everybody with a smidgen of knowledge knows that Zoltan Kodaly did not invent those hand signs. Kodaly developed a pedagogy, a method of music education that utilized the hand signs. But no, he did not invent it. So who did? For that, we need to take a trip back in time, all the way to the 10th century, where a monk named Guido d'Arezzo devoted his life to musicology. His great work was called Micrologus, hopefully I said that right, which we are really not going to go into. However, you can see the complexity of what he was doing. For our purposes, we're going to look at the work he did, which led to standard day notation and the modern scale. Monks like to sit around and chant. That's something that they do. It's awesome and it's beautiful. One of the chants that Guido d'Arezzo would have sung with his brothers is this hymn to St. John the Baptist. He was able to figure out, because he was a genius, that this hymn showed certain steps of what will become the scale. I'm moving this to standard day notation because that's what people are most familiar with. The key words are ut, resonare, mira, famuli, solve, labii. Ut, re, mi, fa, so, la. That is how modern music notation started. And as the children's book says, if you can read music, thank Guido d'Arezzo. But wait a second. I thought it was do, re, mi, not ut, re, mi. Well, I'm glad you asked. Well, sure enough, it will be changed from ut to do. About 600 years later, Giovanni Battista Doni was all, ut is kind of awkward because it has an o sound. It's better if it begins with a consonant. First note, the tonic based on the word God, dominus, do, because everything goes back to God. And in music, everything is rooted in the tonic, the first note of the scale. Some more cynical people think that, well, that might have been what he said was the reason. It just also happened to be the first two letters of his last name. But we can forgive him because musicians have egos. We try, but we always fail. So yay, here we go. Now it's do, re, mi, fa, so, la. But wait, there's more, because we're missing the leading tone. How did we get the syllable for the seventh of the scale? We're not sure to whom it was attributed, but someone said, let's just throw in C. There's some thinking that because St. John the Baptist, St. St. C, could be C. But wait, there's even more. Because as you know, we don't say C do, we say T do. What happened with that? There was a musician named Sarah Anna Glover who said that's really, really nice, but she felt it made more sense that each of these syllables started with a different consonant so that you wouldn't have so, C. So she's changed it to T. And then what's the last one? Well, you know, it's an octave. Do. Yay, Sarah Glover. So C becomes T. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, which brings us back to do. We have the scale. But what about those hand signs that Lacombe was talking about? Enter John Kerwin. Lived in the 19th century. He was the one that decided to use hand signs showing the spatial relationship to the notes with the hand kinesthetically. So now we have the scale on top of each other to show the spatial relationship. As you can see, using the 5-note staff, that's a little bit weird. And I think that I'm going to show you why the hand signs are so practical. Here are the hand signs with the corresponding notes on the staff. Now let's take away the staff. Boom! That's all you need. So after that, in comes Kodaly, who, using these systems, developed his Kodaly method, which is used today. Sometimes this is mistakenly thought as something only for children. Quite the contrary, as I hope I'm about to show you. Because what is the purpose of using these hand signs instead of just look at the music, right? Any musician will tell you, we don't just look at the music. And it's not by magic that we can do what we can do. There's something that musicians have and that we continue to develop our entire lives. You cannot get too much of this. And that is audiation. Audiation is the ability to hear and think music with understanding. Let me make this clear. Hear and think music with understanding. We don't just play notes. We don't just sing notes. You have to understand what you're doing and why. We're getting into the realm of music theory. It starts off like this in a kindergarten class. It ends with this. This goes back to audiation. To audiate is to think music with understanding in much the same way we think when we use language. Language. We are actually speaking a different language when we do music. So now that we understand the whole background of solfege, what it is, where it came from, and why it is used, in part 2, I will go into the specific communication between the aliens and the humans in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Please let me know in the comments what I got right, what I got wrong, and what I may have left out. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great day, and be certain to study all you can about solfege.